Welcome to this tutorial on how to upload an invitation using the Ellacard design portal. There are 3 steps to adding an invitation to Ellacard. First, uploading the design to the design portal. Second, adding text and event information. And last, completing the design upload process. First, you will need to open the raw design so you can make any necessary adjustments and export the design so that it can be uploaded into our platform. Generally, all designs will have been made in Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator, and so access to these software applications is very important. Once you have opened the design, you will first want to make sure it is in the correct size and aspect ratio. All cards on our platform are 600 by 840 pixels and vertically oriented. If a design does not fit these dimensions, you will need to make changes as necessary. Next, you will want to make artistic adjustments as necessary to improve the appearance of the design. In this example, we want to adjust the design so that the speech bubble is better aligned with the dinosaur's mouth. It will be up to your best artistic judgment what changes to make to improve the appearance of an invitation. Now, you will want to export the design so that you can upload it into the Ellacard platform. When uploading a design into Ellacard, we prefer you divide the design in 3 sections: a background layer, a foreground image layer, and a text layer. We do this so that designs can be more easily altered later on directly from the Ellacard platform. Therefore, you will first want to export just the background, then export just the foreground images, and then export just the text. Generally, we prefer that any vector images are exported in SVG format to keep the image as crisp as possible. All other images should be exported in a PNG format. Only export a text layer if it is an integral part of the design or is in a complicated configuration or font. Otherwise, you need to use our own text system, which we will go over later. For this example, there is no text that meets the above requirements, so I will not export it, but instead add text using our system. To add text to a card using the Ellacard text system, first record the different fonts used in the design. Next, check if those fonts are available in our list of font options. If they are not available, you can try searching for an alternative Google font that is similar, or otherwise you can simply browse our list of fonts until you find one that works well. The next step is click the calendar icon on the top right to add placeholder event details to the invite. This is the sample event information, like the event name, date, and location, that the customer will replace with their own event details. You can add the event name, the event date and time, and the event location. You can write in your own custom details, or we also provide quick select options that you can use to randomly add event details from a list of available options. You only really need to fill in the event details that are present on the invite. For this example, that is the event name, the event date, and the event time and location. For other invitations, it might just be the event name or nothing at all. You can choose to use the same event details that are already on the invite, or add in new ones. Sometimes an invite design will contain information that is not necessary, such as RSVP details. Other times, it makes sense to leave out some information in order to increase the visual appeal of the design. It will be up to you to use your own artistic reference to decide what makes sense. Now it is time to add text to the invite and then convert it into smart text by connecting it to the event details. First, create a text box, and then right-click on it and select Link Text to Event. A Smart Text drop-down menu will open, giving you the ability to link your text to the event information. There are a few default options, as well as the ability to add a custom linking. Smart Text connects a text box to particular event details so that the invite creator can enter the event information once, and the text will automatically update with that new information. I will link this text box to the event name, which is a default option. Now the text has been converted into smart text, and anytime the event name is updated, so too is the text box. If it helps, you can first type the event information in the text box, and then right-click it and link it to your placeholder event details. When your text format is not available in our default smart text options, you will need to make a custom linking between the text and the event details. First, select Custom Format to open the Smart Text Formatting prompt. Here you will see a text box with a list of available event variables you can link to below. In order to make a custom linking, you need to add the event variables that correspond to your event text format in the correct sequence. For this text, I want to add the abbreviated weekday, a comma, the abbreviated month, and the date with its ordinal. First, I find the variable for the abbreviated weekday and add it to the text box. All variables must be wrapped in curly braces. Then, I add a comma and a space. You can add text and spaces to the text box as necessary. Next, I need to find and add the code for the abbreviated month. And last, the date with its ordinal. As I input the smart text, I can see exactly what the output will look like just below the input box, so I can make sure it is correct. Once I am done, I select Update, and the smart text is now linked to the event details using my own custom linking. Repeat this step for all of the text that needs to be converted into smart text so that it links to the event, and then add any other text to the invite that does not need to be linked. Now it is time to format all of the text. The first step is to make the text editable by the customer. This will allow the customer to make changes to the text when they customize the design. To do this, you can right-click on the text, or first select the text, and then click the Settings button below to open the text options. Here you will find the toggle labeled Allow User Editing. This will generate a blue box around the text that shows you the available space the customer will have when they customize the text. Now adjust the size and the location of the blue text box to fit the entire available space that the text could fit in. This ensures that the customer has as much space as possible when adding their own custom text, while still keeping the integrity of the design. For more precise text box positioning and sizing, open the text options again and select Fine-Tune Positioning. You can now precisely adjust the location, size, and rotation of the text box. This is especially useful when you want multiple text boxes to be aligned perfectly with each other, or when you want them to be exactly the same dimensions. Next, apply the correct font and color to the text using the previously recorded fonts and colors. You can also browse our text effects and see if there is a text effect that improves the design. Once you have the desired font and color, adjust the size of the text, the text alignment, the line spacing, and the text spacing. When formatting the card text, there is no correct sequence to follow, and oftentimes you will find that as you format the text, you will need to go back and make adjustments to the changes that you already made. This will require your artistic skills to make everything look as nice as possible. Once you have completed formatting all of the text, it is time to add a background color and texture for any additional pages that the customer might add to the invitation. You can select one of our default options or upload a custom background. Now that you have completed the card design, you need to test the card to make sure everything looks and works well. You can test your card by clicking the magnifying glass icon and selecting the Preview as Editor option. This will put the design in a test mode where you can edit the card like the customer. Make sure to test adding different names, locations, and other text to make sure that the design looks good no matter what. Any changes made here will not alter the original design. Next, click the magnifying glass icon again and select Preview as Recipient. This will preview the card as the final recipient when they receive it. Now make any necessary adjustments until everything looks and works great. Once your invitation is ready, you can submit it by completing the upload process. First, name your invitation, then add themes and effects. Then add category tags. And finally, save and upload the design. The card has now been submitted and is ready for review.